Those are all the 1 o'clock games. We go to 4:05 p.m. Let me get this set up here, and let's go. Arizona Cardinals at Cleveland Browns, First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm very excited about this football game. I'm still on first half. Let me move over to full game. Here we go. Cleveland opening up as 3-point favorites. That's moved to 2.5. Only 2 books are still hanging the 3 of the books that I keep an eye on. This total has opened at 54 and has dropped 4.5 points to 49.5. Let's see if the money backs that up. And here we go. The 4:05 start. 7,225 tickets in. It says with 89% confidence that Cleveland will go to -2.5, which it already has. So we don't need that information. I apologize for that. 50% of the tickets are on Cleveland, 79% of the cash, and there's been a market move towards Arizona. Now, when I talked about in the tweet for this show about how there's so many injuries, so many moving parts, it's this game and it's the Browns that really need to be studied and figured out. 49% of tickets on the under, 61% of cash on the under. Obviously, Sharp's buying back here, which is what you should do in a situation like this if you're betting big dollars. Let's go. First Energy Stadium, Cleveland, Ohio. Cardinals come in off an ugly 17-10 win at home over the Niners. Improved to 5-0 for the first time since 1974. Came in averaging 35 points per game, which led the NFL. And I cannot believe that I didn't get paid off this game. It's so frustrating. Kyler Murray, 22-31, 239 yards, 1 touchdown. Also fumbled twice, losing 1. Hopkins, 6 catches for 87 yards, 1 touchdown. Rondale Moore caught 5 passes for 59 yards, ran 3 times for 38 yards. Connor ran 10 times for 29 yards. They got 2 sacks, 7 quarterback hits. And J.J. Watt had his best game in the Cardinals uniform. Big pass deflection in the fourth quarter. Got his first tackle for a loss. He pumps up the bench, and there's something to be said for that. Max Williams, tight end, we expect that he suffered a season-ending injury there, sadly, with his knee. Zeke Turner, linebacker, questionable to return this week with a shoulder injury. Rodney Hudson, center, also dealing with a rib injury. Byron Murphy Jr. and Marco Wilson were inactive last week and still aren't just questionable this week. Browns coming off this wild 47-42 loss at the Chargers. This game saw 1 tie, 8 lead changes, 4 in the final 15 minutes. In the last 15 minutes, the teams combined for 41 points. Browns are the first team in NFL history. This is a great stat. First team in NFL history to lose a regular season or playoff game when scoring 40-plus points with 500 yards of offense and no turnover. First team in NFL history to lose in that situation. Baker, 23-32, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Torn left labrum in his non-throwing shoulder when he tried to he made the tackle. When he made the tackle after throwing the pick early in the season. Njoku caught all 7 of his targets for 149 yards, 1 touchdown. He's the first Browns tight end since Gary Barnidge, 2015, to go for over 100 yards. Donovan Peoples-Jones caught 5 passes for 70 yards. Nick Chubb ran 21 times for 161 yards. Kareem Hunt ran 12 times for 61 yards, 2 touchdowns, also caught 5 passes for 28 yards. That's the good stuff. Here's what we need to figure out. Greedy Williams had 10 tackles and 1 pass deflected before leaving the game with a shoulder injury. He had an MRI on Monday, and try as I might, I could not get info on it. They also lost Denzel Ward to a neck injury. He had an MRI on Monday. The secondary is already thin without Greg Newsome. Myles Garrett, 3 tackles, 1 sack, 1 pass deflected, 3 quarterback hits. Browns had 2 sacks and 8 quarterback hits. Rookie linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah suffered a throat contusion, was taken to a local hospital. He was released. He's going to be fine, it looks like. Browns are also missing both starting tackles. Right tackle Jack Conklin suffered a knee injury in the third quarter. He had an MRI on Monday. Couldn't find out about that. Safety MJ Stewart had a hamstring injury in the second half, did not return. He was placed on IR. Offensive tackle Chris Hubbard, also due to a hamstring injury, was placed on IR. Stefanski said Monday that he's unsure if Jarvis Landry will be activated from injured reserve. There's a chance that he could be in the lineup. Defensive end Jadavian Clowney, linebacker Tony Fields, Greg Newsome, and Jedrick Willis Jr. were all inactive last week and are listed as questionable this week. Wow. How do you deal with all that, Bebsie? Cardinals, Browns, take it away.
I mean, that is a laundry list of injuries and questionable statuses. I mean, I want to be bullish on Cleveland in this game, but the uncertainty, the sheer number of injuries that are listed there, and listen, we know what DeAndre Hopkins can do to a thin secondary. You got to have your top guy on him, and that guy's got to be healthy. If you don't have Jimmy Ward, you don't have Greedy Wilson, that's a really tough spot for this Browns defense. And again, like their offensive line that is so good, but still has a bunch of injuries. Will they get Jedrick Wills back this week? Listen, if they're healthy, I think Cleveland smashes Arizona because Cleveland's sitting there at 3-2, and they have two very close losses to excellent football teams. Arizona, on the other hand, is 5-0 with some fluky wins against a much easier schedule so far. Look, they probably shouldn't have beat the Niners this week. The Niners did a great job beating themselves. Kyle Shanahan had a terrible game plan in place, and that was a very frustrating game to watch. But Arizona, again, they're sitting at 5-0, and they are not a 5-0 football team. So I think it's Cleveland or no play. And I think if you bet Cleveland now and some of these guys that are questionable are ready to go, you're just going to love your bet by the end of the week, because I think if they get enough of these guys back, the line moves. But if you're not getting any answers on these injuries right now, it's a tough play to make.
I'll take a 3, knowing that Greedy and Denzel Ward are back. And if in the end I push a bet because of it, I'm okay with that. I just need more information on the Browns injuries, and I completely understand. If you have balls to, bet the Browns expecting these guys to play, I respect that. I don't have it. So Alvin Smith has a question. There's Connor Mack in the house. Great to see you, C-Mac. Alvin Smith has a question. He says, Bebsie, if it comes down to a 2-minute drive, do you believe in Baker Mayfield?
That is an excellent question, Alvin. I believe in Kevin Stefanski using Baker Mayfield. Kind of. Not a ton. There's a lot of guys I would rather have in the 2-minute drill. Look, Baker is fine. He's a fine quarterback. He's not great. He's not bad. He's fine. And that's all he kind of has to be with this team around him so long as they're healthy. But that's obviously a bigger ask when they're not healthy. So short answer, kinda. Long answer, I don't have a good answer.
The weather on Sunday is a factor. Now, chance of showers, so we don't know, but there will be 20-mile-per-hour winds. There will be 20-mile-per-hour winds. Let's take one last look at what the total is in this spot, sitting at that's why it dropped 4.5, 5 points, obviously. Okay. Well, part of it. Okay. No move for me, but I want the Browns. But I need Greedy. I need Denzel. And I'd love to have Newsome. If I can have a secondary, I'll make a move on them. If not, I will just sit back and watch. Again,
you'd love to have those tackles back too, facing Chandler Jones.
No, you're absolutely right. But Jones had that 5-sack statement game, and then hasn't done a ton since. But no, you're absolutely right. There are issues here with the Browns, and look, I've invested in them, and watching the Ravens come back against the Colts hurt me. That was a perfect spot for them to lose and put Browns in the driver's seat here.